Have you been following the real estate market this past year? Just waiting for the market to crash so that you can snag up that dream property you've always wanted to buy at a steal of a deal? Well, that market crash may not be exactly what you thought it was going to be. My name is Janalee Fowler, and I'm a local real estate agent and realtor here in Salmon, Idaho. I am brokered by eXp Realty. Why don't we take a quick look at the 2022 real estate market in Lemhi County, and then I'd like to give you a quick forecast of how I think 2023 is going to perform. So let's dive right in. Okay, so I have a few slides here that we'll go through to show how the real estate market in Lemhi County for 2002 performed. I apologize, I do not have the data for January and February. I was not pulling it regularly off the MLS because I didn't realize that when you pull historical data off the MLS, at least on our MLS, it's not correct. So starting in March, I started pulling it off every week and haven't had a problem, but I missed January and February. So I apologize for that, but let's take a look at March through December as it is. So this is our active listings. From here you can see we are currently higher than we were towards the beginning of the year last year. I believe in January and February, we were even lower than what it shows in March there. So we are starting off the new year with quite a bit of inventory, which is part of the reason why we're in a buyer's market right now. Normally we'd be around that 30 mark or maybe a little bit higher would be kind of where we'd want to see, or maybe between 25 and 30. Somewhere in that would be normal for us. So right now we're a little bit higher on both land and residential homes. It's kind of normal for land to be that way because come springtime, those land lots get grabbed up pretty quickly. Now for sold listings, as you can see, they're kind of all over the board. If you look at the yellow or orangish line there, that is the homes data. And you can see March and May and August, we had kind of jumps up on the amount sold. That August one was very impressive. That is when the interest rates dropped. They dropped kind of towards the end of June, which then the people that were searching jumped in, bought houses before they could creep up again. And you know, it takes 30 to 45 days to close a house. So that timeline right there is just perfect for it. Now, springtime, we'll always see small jumps up in the amount sold. So that was quite normal on land. They peaked in June. That was an amazing month for land sales. It's usually more around the average of 5 or 6 for land. And then we usually like to see it around 7 or 8 for homes. So right now at the end of the year, we are ducking down pretty low. We did just get through the holidays. I'm hoping it'll pick up here in the springtime, but we are pretty low there for the amount of sold listings towards the end of the year. Right now we're sitting at 4, I believe, last month. So a little bit lower than the average where we'd like to see up here around 7 and 8. Now in days of market, we have a market that is extremely high on days of market. It's just the way this county has kind of always been, because some people will stick their listings on the market for several years at a time and just let them sit. So unfortunately, those listings affect our days on the market. And so next year, I might just kind of plop those out just because I feel like they're a bad reflection of the true days of market for our market. But for now, this last year had them included. So you can see for land on the teal line, they were pretty high in springtime, between 200 to, I think it got up to about 235, 240. And then they dropped down in June when that big amount sold. We had, I think, 14 in June close. And so those days on market dropped down pretty far on that. And then they've been kind of slowly keeping steady around that 148 mark until they creeped up here a little bit in December. Now, days on market, the residential homes, those usually stay just a little bit up at 100, but these last couple of months, they have been crawling up. So right now we are sitting for homes on a days of market, average days of market of 170, which is extremely high, and it really should not be that high. It's just we have a lot of listings on the market, and we have a lot of sellers unwilling to lower their prices down to where the buyers need to be able to afford them because of the higher interest rates. So those properties are just sitting. Now, if we look at the average sales price, you can see here on homes, it's always been skirting around all year long, around that 380 mark, up and down and up and down. And then it went up above that a little bit in October, and that was due to a couple of the sales being higher sales amounts. And now we're dipping down pretty low. We didn't have any luxury homes sell in the last few months, and so those average sales prices did dip down on the homes a little bit there. And we did see the sales prices drop on the market as a whole, depending on if you're looking at houses under $500,000 to luxury homes above $500,000. Just depends on how much those did decrease. But we did see a pretty big market shift. A lot of the home prices did have to take about a $50,000 drop on average. Some of them have taken a little bit more than that, and some a little bit less. Now, if you look at land, you can see average sales price is kind of all over the place. And that is because the price of land differs greatly, because you could have a 60-acre parcel and you can have a 1-acre parcel. So it just depends on what sold that month as to what the average sales price is. So average sales price on land isn't that great really to average out, but you can see around there that most of the land sales are going to average kind of around that $100,000 mark or below. Now, list price versus sales price. So this shows you how closely homes are closing their closing price. So what they sold price is versus the asking price of the home. And this is the last asking price on the MLS. It doesn't include the initial list price. So if the property had any price reductions, this just goes off of the list price from the last price reduction, the list price when they accepted that offer. So you can see most of them throughout the year have averaged between 95 to 100%. On land, there was a couple months that did dip down into the 80s, so there was probably maybe a luxury, higher priced property there that got a pretty low reduction in their prices. And you'll see that in the higher priced markets. Now, homes price, or the list of sales price on homes, has remained pretty steady. It did dip down to 92 and 93% in August, September, and October. Those first months where the interest rates got really high. Those did dip down. We did see them come back up in November and December, just because that's when we saw actually some price decreases in the market. And so there wasn't as big as a deficiency as opposed to sales price to list price, because the prices had already been reduced. Okay, so now you're wondering, after you've watched all that information, what does this mean for you? So 2022 was a year of just constant kind of ups and downs. What are we going to do? There was a lot of market scare, media tactics. Oh, you gotta love the media of putting out their housing crash again, just like 2009. Well, it's not like anything like 2009, okay? Did prices go down? Yes. Why? Because interest rates went up. And as long as that happens, interest rates will go up. There's less buyers. If inventory goes up, then your market shifts. And that's exactly what we saw. We saw a shift from a seller's market to a buyer's market. And that's what happened. And we have seen a little bit of a market shift in prices where the prices have gone down, probably lost a year of appreciation, maybe because of how fast houses appreciated. So what does this mean for 2003? 2023? Well, here's my forecast for 2023. And I've watched a lot of articles. I've read through the NAR, the National Association of Realtors forecast. I've read through Fannie Mae, a lot of other resources online. And basically everybody's saying it depends on inflation. And that is true. All right. If interest rates rise, then we're going to see the sales prices have to decrease a little bit. There's just no way they can sustain if the interest rates still keep climbing. Now, if the interest rates stay at the 6.25 that we've seen them where they are currently on average, then we might even see a little bit of market appreciation in sales prices. Some experts are saying, house prices will increase a little bit. Some people are saying house prices are going to decrease a little bit. So if you take the average of those, you're probably going to see a pretty stagnant market as far as prices and sales prices go, kind of flatline there. So be prepared for that as a buyer or a seller. Here in Lemhi County, we seem to be a little bit behind everybody. So our prices are still a little bit high. I'd like to see some of the listings out there, their prices decrease just because with the interest rates they are, the buying power is not there on the buyer's side to be able to afford those. So if you're looking to sell your home, does it mean that you're not going to make any money? No, because in the last 2 years, your house value has doubled. So you have a lot of equity in that home. So it's not that scary if you want to sell. Plus, I have seen a lot of markets in Idaho, their prices have decreased a lot more than Salmon's has so far. So Idaho Falls, Boise, Coeur d'Alene, their prices have come down quite a bit. So if you're looking at purchasing elsewhere, now might be the right time to sell and purchase elsewhere, because for a while there, you couldn't make enough money off of what you were selling in Idaho to purchase elsewhere. And right now, you're kind of in that sweet spot. So if you are thinking about selling and leaving salmon, as much as that makes me sad because I love salmon, just not the cold weather. It's making it really hard right now. Now might be the time. If you're looking to buy, don't be too scared. There's a lot of programs out there. So interest rates this week at least were around 6.25 on average through all the programs. And that might bring your buyers' buying power down a little bit. But there are a lot of programs such as buy downs that lenders are offering right now that you can pre-purchase some of that interest in the beginning. I recommend having sellers pre-purchase that interest if at all possible. That just means that maybe you don't make such a low ball offer. And then you can get your interest prepaid for the first 2 years so that you're not paying as high. And hopefully, those interest rates will come back down a little bit so that you can refinance in a couple of years before they jump up. Those are the programs that are out there right now. So it's definitely worth looking into. I always recommend, first step in buying a home is to talk to your lender, get pre-approved, learn what your budget is, and then interview agents. Find an agent that you like, that you seem to fit well with, and that you trust, and then start looking at houses. You don't want to get your hopes up on a house and then find out you can't afford it. So that's my 2023 forecast for our Lemhi County market. We'll see how well I did at the end of the year. I hope you all have a great day, and thanks for watching this video. Take care.